Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of the Untitled podcast.
Woo!
I am your Lord and Savior, Abigail.
And I'm just Alaina.
Peasant. An eagle is going to come down every single day. Okay, guys, imagine this. Close your eyes. Ready?
Okay.
POV. You are stuck to a rock, and every single day, an eagle swoops down and eats your liver. But your liver grows back every single night.
Okay.
That's from Roman mythology, if you ladies were wondering.
So I wanted to talk about Francisco De Goya because I watched a Brittany Broski video. Why are you making fun of me? So Francisco De Goya was a painter for the Spanish royal court. Something happened, and it was an undiagnosed thing where he went deaf. And so then he started painting. He painted a bunch of paintings with pictures of goats being worshipped and witches and hanging babies and
all the
voodoo dolls
that people like to do.
Yeah.
Let's do character growth. I said Sansa. Let me talk about this woman. And before you guys start, I'm just gonna say, spoiler warning for Game of Thrones.
I haven't seen it. Me and Abby have been trying to watch it together for 10
I've
freaking years.
I've already watched it.
And I'm not allowed to watch it unless I'm with Abby. Every time we're together,
whenever we are together,
we don't want to watch it.
Well, I do, but I just forget. You know what I mean?
I forget about it too.
That we have to do
or
it.
I lose interest. So we're only through the first season, maybe.
We're in the second episode of the second season.
I don't remember the first one.
But I will talk about Sansa. Warning, obviously, spoiler warning. I will try to keep out other things. I will only spoil Sansa. So Sansa, when she is when you're first introduced, she's kind of the stuck-up snob who really wants to be with Joffrey. You know what I mean? She's very she's not really materialistic. I think she just wants to be a princess and she wants to be queen.
Oh, okay.
Because that's every little girl's dream. You know what I mean? When you live in this time period,
yeah,
wouldn't you want to be the highest person in the court ever? Wouldn't you want to be the richest and no one can say anything to you? Okay, that's what she's doing. She wants to be a princess. And then crazy things happen. Joffrey is not her Prince Charming after all, and he's actually insane.
Cuckoo
and
crazy.
He, strips her clothes off in front of the entire court when she's 15 and forces. Okay, I've already said a warning. I don't need to say a bunch.
Yeah.
But forces her to look at her dead father's decapitated head on a spike.
Yeah.
He's crazy. And she goes through a lot of trauma. I mean, her dad dies in front of her.
Yeah. And then she has to be brought back to his head on a spike.
Mm-hmm.
And
so I cannot spoil this because I know it's gonna
I was gonna say I'll just take my headphones off and cover my ears, but I have to edit this. So I'll hear it anyway.
When we get to it, it's gonna be just insane. But she loses so much of everything. She loses herself, and it's so sad to see. And
this is about character growth, not character decline.
I know. She grows after.
Okay.
She really loses herself. She thankfully is taken out of the situation with Joffrey, but is put into a even worse situation. I can say the character. Don't look the character up.
I have to put a picture of the character.
Okay. Littlefinger. Hate him. He's evil. He's the worst character ever. He was in love with her mom.
How old is he?
He's old.
Okay. I was thinking he was another Joffrey.
Then he becomes low-key in love with Sansa, and she's 15. And he takes her away from Joffrey, and so he thinks that she's fine. She thinks that she's going to be okay now. Nope. He basically sells her to another psychopath who, warning for explicit content, rapes her and terrifies her every single day, tells her that he only wants her because she's the heir to Winterfell, and he just wants to have babies with her, and as soon as they're done, he's gonna kill her. Does all this. He's crazy. And then her and Theon escape, and she finally gets back to Jon. She finally gets back to Jon, thank God. And then it's so freaking sick, I can't tell you, but she gets back at him in a really sick way. She becomes literally the ruler of Winterfell, which was their home.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So she leaves home. She has all this awful stuff happen to her. Her home gets sieged by this evil maniac who rapes her and wants to kill her. She leaves. She comes back kills him, and is literally the leader of the pack. Come on, girl. Like, what? Can I get a holla for Sansa? Holla! And I hate all of these stupid men who hate on Sansa because she loved Joffrey in the beginning. She was a little girl. How was she supposed to know that Joffrey was going to do all this? And most of the stuff that Joffrey did was to her. How was she supposed to know that he was going to be this crazy?
Yeah.
My point? She didn't. She didn't know. I will stand for my queen. She is my queen. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. I chose a character from a really cringy show from 2013.
That's literally a ripoff of Game of Thrones, I think.
The 100? No, it's not.
You told me like what it's about, and it sounded like it.
Okay, The 100.
They have a throne that's made of swords.
Okay, maybe some inspiration, but the plot is completely different, okay? So my character that I really love is Octavia Blake. And for those of you who actually watch The 100 and are cool, know Octavia Blake. Basically, The 100 is the Earth exploded by nukes, and so nobody could live there because of the radiation. And so everyone moved into a spaceship for 100 years. Okay, there's 7 seasons. It came out in 2013 to 2020.
7 seasons?
The last 2 seasons get a little off plot, but the first 5, 2 to 5, are really good.
That's Loki Game of Thrones, though. It's like they started losing it.
Octavia Blake is the only sibling in the entire show because everyone was forced to have one kid because of oxygen on the spaceship. Her brother's name is Bellamy Blake, and Bellamy is like the main character, but Octavia has the best development. She's this shy little girl who hid under the floor for 16 years because she wasn't allowed to be alive. Her mom got floated, which means she got sucked into space.
I can guess what that means.
Yeah, she got sucked into space and died because she
You're
committed
on a spaceship and there's this thing called floated. I feel like I could assume.
So then they wanted to see if the Earth was habitable again, so they sent down 100 prisoners. And Octavia got arrested because they can't float people who are minors. So basically all of their prisoners are minors, children who commit crimes. She was like 16, and then she got sent down to Earth for the first time in 100 years. She was one of the first people to ever see it. And they soon found out that there were other people living on Earth before them when they got there.
White people, when they find out people were there before them?
What? They called them grounders, and then the grounders took Octavia and trained her how to fight with swords and like kill people, and then she became a part of Tree Crew, which is a different crew of the grounders. Grounders is like a whole different anyway. Then she got stabbed in her stomach and pushed off of a cliff and landed on rocks in a river, and she got up and still survived.
Okay, that literally happened to Aragorn, and he got up and did like this really cool walk through things, and he was like, guys, come on. And then he fought in a battle.
She fought in many battles.
Okay, Aragorn did too. And then he became the king.
Let me get into Octavia because she, in season 4, they were introduced to the city with all of the different clans, which is Asgetta, Tree Crew. They're all like weird names, okay? Nerd. This is taking place post-apocalyptic 2150-something. Nerd. It's crazy. All right.
I have something in my throat, sorry. Nerd.
Then she has to fight in the Conclave, which is basically you fight to the death and whoever
like
wins.
Star Trek.
But the Conclave was basically the Earth's radiation was going to come back again and kill everybody, so they had to find a place to stay safe. So a few people went to space, but I mean, it wasn't enough to support everybody.
Yeah. And
so they found bunkers, and they were all fighting for this one bunker. And Octavia fought for Sky Crew, which is the people from...
That's the stupidest name I've ever heard.
The people from the sky. And then she won the
That's
conclave.
Like some,
Spoiler. She won the conclave. The conclave.
Like some Logan Paul type.
Shut up. Then she became the leader of everyone on Earth, and they called her Blood Reina because normally when you're a commander, you have to have night blood, which is black blood, because that can withstand the radiation, whatever. And she didn't have that, but she still won the conclave. So they had to make her the commander. So then season 6 and season 7 didn't happen, but Octavia is still great and amazing and beautiful. And yeah, I'm done. I think that was the longest I've ever talked on this podcast.
I think that's the nerdiest you've ever spoken, and that's coming from me.
You wanted to talk about goths and their obsession with Egypt.
Oh, yeah. Specifically, the goth mother of the house Goth, Siouxsie and the Banshees.
Oh,
Siouxsie
yes.
Sue, her makeup, like the traditional trad goth,
eyebrows.
put a picture, eyebrows.
And
very Egypt.
Contour.
The album cover, Juju. That's a very, I think it's actually might not be Egyptian. I think it's a picture of a Native American or just a native thing. But they, like, goth culture, I think, had such an obsession with Egypt.
Cleopatra.
And because a lot of it stems from the time of Bram Stoker, Bram Stoker, who was the writer of Dracula. He wrote it in the 1800s. And during that time, especially the UK, so like Ireland included, which is where he's from, they were doing a lot of, I think the word is extravagances. They were doing a lot of that in
culture
Egypt.
seeking?
Not colonizing. Ripping their culture and taking it for your own liking.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the British Museum is like, I could talk about that all day of how, like, the British Museum has just stolen Egyptian artifacts that the Egyptians didn't even know that they had. And we're like, found it first. Snooze, you lose.
And then now Ireland. You wanted to talk about Fontaines D.C.
Skinty Fia. Skinty Fia means the damnation of the deer. Their album is called Skinty Fia, and a lot of it, obviously because they're Irish, has to do with how England stripped them of their culture. And the album cover for Skinty Fia has a deer on it, which is a deer that is no longer populating Ireland. It was... it's not there anymore. It's
like deers are not in Ireland at all?
No, this specific deer. It was like a special deer to Ireland. And now it's no longer there.
What was it? Like a mascot for Ireland?
Not really.
Kind of, I don't know
it was
what the
kind
other
of
word
like,
is.
it was like if Highland cows
I don't know
left
what that
Scotland. They're like the cows that Scotland's like known for.
You know
what
okay,
I mean?
okay,
It's like
okay.
if they disappeared. The whole album has obviously tied roots to like the awful relationship between Ireland and England, and I Love You is like their most famous one. First you think it's a love song to a person, but it's really a love song to Ireland. It's really good. I love that song. I like Roman Holiday, and I like Jackie Down the Line.
Oh, you love Jackie Down the Line.
This is my favorite one. What good is happiness to me if I'm to wield it carefully?
Oh, and then if we're talking about Ireland, we have to talk about Bono.
Bono.
Songs of the episode. Jeremy by Pearl Jam is still on there.
Jeremy
spoken class today. All right, this is very popular, but You Ought to Know by Alanis Morissette. I just rediscovered this song, and I was really happy about that.
Simmer by Hayley Williams.
Feel Good Inc. by Gorillaz. Train Songs, White Noise, Sleep Sounds.
Oh, Age of Consent by New Order.
Helpless Child by Swans. Swans is a great band, but I learned that they love to make their audience feel uncomfortable, and they play at 120 decibels.
Our Lady of the Well by Jackson Browne, who's the guy who did These Days. He wrote Don't confront me with my failures. I had not forgotten them. At 15. We have to go.
We have to go.
Oh, Eyeless by Slipknot. Guys, I didn't get time to talk about Joey Jordison, but I love you so much. My sweetie pie, I love you so much. And Peter Steele. Bye-bye, guys. Love you.
Bye-bye.